All right, good evening. If you all, if those of you in the back would find a seat, there's plenty of seats. I sound like a teacher. There's plenty of seats up here in the front. Um, If everyone would join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, we will begin the meeting. Nikki, would you please call roll?
Mrs. Hopper. Here. Mr. Kilper.
Here.
Ms. Matt Franklin. Here. Mr. Schindler.
Here.
Mr. Seltzer. Here. Mr. Spector.
Here.
Mr. Todd.
I am here. We have just a little housekeeping. We have no closed session tonight upcoming, and we have no, well, we do have regular meetings, which we're in now, and we do have some special recognitions, so I want to address those right now. The Board of Education is pleased to recognize an exceptional group of Parkway students who earned All-State Music Honors during the All-State Festival Conference at the Missouri Music Educators Association Conference in February. I'd like to invite Jeff Lackey, our Coordinator of Fine Arts, to the podium to recognize our students. Jeff.
Good evening, President Todd, Vice President Debbie Hopper, members of the Board of Education, Dr. Marty, and Ms. Stover. I'm here tonight to recognize 40 extraordinary, talented, and dedicated Parkway High School musicians who were selected for the 2025 Missouri All-State Band, Jazz Band, Choir, and Orchestra. These students earned spots in these prestigious ensembles through a highly competitive audition process. To even be considered for the first, they first had to be selected at their local ensembles. From there, they auditioned at the state level, demonstrating the technical skills, musicality, and artistry that set them apart from hundreds of other students from across the state of Missouri for the very same seats. The All-State Ensembles performed on February 1st at the Music Educators Conference before an appreciative audience of music educators, administrators, and families. These performers is a celebration of the students' hard work, talent, commitment to artistic excellence. I'd like to take a moment to thank their music educators who inspired, coached, and challenged these students along their journey. Your dedication is the foundation of their success. I'd also like to recognize the parents and families who support, encourage, and have played a vital role in every step of the way. So at this time, without further ado, I'd be honored to introduce this year's All-State musicians. We'll group them up by ensemble, and I'll call you by group. So when your name is called, please come up and be greeted by the Board of Education. I'll start with All-State Band students. For All-State Band, we had 8 students participate and perform at the All-State Band, and they were clarinet, North High, Ethan Denny. Percussionist from West High, Colin Jackson. Alto saxophone, South High, Sophie Krujalis. On flute from South High, Ella Mitaxov. On alto saxophone from West High, Dominic Perez. On oboe from West High, Kara Purdy. On clarinet from West High, Bhaskara Wahana. And alto saxophone from Central High, Hannah Wolkowitz. For the All-State Band, we also had 3 students that were alternates or honorable mentions, and they were on alternate piccolo from Central High, Samantha Taylor. Honorable mention on tuba, West High, Zach Card. And honorable mention on tuba, North High, Dakota Tridiger. Our second ensemble we'd like to recognize are the All-State Jazz Band students. We had 2 students who made this organization. One All-State person was tenor saxophones from Central High, Zach Bonnet. And then we had an alternate trumpet player from West High, and that's Cole Carew. The next ensemble we'd like to recognize are our All-State Choir students. We had 4 students perform in the All-State Choir, and singing bass from North High was Max Benisek. Singing alto from South High was Bella Bauer. Singing bass from West High was Jack Mullen. Singing tenor from West High was Emmett Vernon. For All-State Choir, we also had alternates and honorable mentions, 5 of them. We had an alternate soprano from North High, Delaney Curran. Alternate soprano from West High, Evelyn Fitzpatrick. Alternate tenor from North High, Levi Schulte. Honorable mention, alto from Central High, Kira Anderson Pittman. And honorable mention, soprano from North High, Ava Jansen. Our final ensemble was the All-State Orchestra students. We had 10 students perform in the group. I'll read them in alphabetical order. We have violin 1 from West High, Ian Chung. On bass from Central High, Lyric Green. Cello from Central High, Eileen Hinners. Viola from Central High, Adita Kafark. Violin 1 from Central High, Asher Koh. Violin 2 from Central High, Grace Lee. Violin 1 from Central High, Aiden Moon. Viola from West High, Joy Sheen. Violin 1 from West High, Kyler Wang. And violin 2 from West High, Alicia Yin. We also had 8 alternates or honorable mentions for this group. On cello from North High, we had Alex Beck. Cello from West High, Ian Cho. Viola from Central High, Macy Heimberger. Violin from West High, Felicity Jackson. Violin from Central High, Dwarka Kumar. Violin from Central High, Hannah Lee. Violin from Central High, Evelyn Monzik. And finally, viola from Central High, Ava O'Brien. Before we conclude, I would also like to acknowledge the music teachers of these students who are here tonight by having them stand and be recognized. We want to thank them for their incredible dedication, and once again, congratulations to our 2025 Parkway All-State musicians. So as we celebrate our students, it's equally important to recognize the educators who inspire them every day. Tonight, I'm proud to recognize one of Parkway's outstanding educators, Katie Henderson, who is... Katie was recognized or named as the 2025 Missouri ASTA Elementary Strings Teacher of the Year at the State Music Conference in January. This award, given by the American Strings Teacher Association, honors excellence in strings teaching across the state, and Katie exemplifies that in every way. She's a dedicated leader in our music community, volunteering her time to mentor new teachers, support colleagues, and collaborate with administrators. Her experience and commitment makes her a trusted and respected voice among Parkway educators. Over the years, Katie has taught generations of strings teachers, many whom continue their musical journeys into high school, college, and beyond. Her ability to reach, inspire every student is a testament to her skill and passion. Katie lives out the Parkway mission every day. Her students are not only strong technical players, they're confident and creative musicians. Please join me in congratulating Katie Henderson on this very well-deserved recognition.
Thank you again to all of our students and your families for being here to celebrate tonight. Parents, you have some outstanding children and should be very proud. Congratulations also to Katie. As a board, we're so thrilled at all of our students and teachers' accomplishments, so congratulations to you all. Right now, we'll take a brief recess and we'll resume the meeting shortly. everybody left. All right, we will pick up right where we left off with additions, corrections, and/or modifications to the agenda. There's only one, 7.01, addendum to agenda item 11.12, approval of personnel items. Next up, we have citizen statements, and we only have one person who has signed up. So that is Lindsay Brand. If you just, you'll have 3 minutes and just reintroduce yourself and tell us what your affiliation or connection to Parkway is.
Sure. Okay. Hello, members of the Parkway School District Board. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Lindsay Brand, and I live in St. Louis County. My friend has 2 sons in the Parkway School District, and I'd like to bring to you all's attention the topic of mental health support. My friend cannot attend this meeting herself as she has a standing Wednesday night commitment she cannot get out of, and I was happy to come and attend in her place. My background is in education. I previously worked in K-12 education school, public system schools, and I now work in higher education as a professor. So what I do is I help students constantly navigate the student services at my school to ensure they have access to resources they need due to non-cognitive challenges to facilitate their success both inside and outside the classroom. These 2 areas do not exist in a vacuum. What happens at home doesn't stay at home. When I found out that my friend was struggling to get Henry Elementary to partner with her to provide mental health supports to her son who's going through a difficult period in his life, I was honestly very surprised. Parkway has a good reputation in the St. Louis metropolitan area, and I thought this wouldn't have been an issue. In fact, like last year when I moved, I even considered Parkway District for my children when I relocated out of Webster Groves. I looked on the Parkway School website and I found that this district is part of the Trauma Informed School Initiative. And one of the things DESE's website says about this designation is that it means staff have been trained to recognize the widespread impact of trauma and understand the potential paths for recovery so that they can respond by integrating knowledge about trauma into its policies, procedures, and practices. I would have expected the staff at Henry Elementary School to partner with my friend to help her son as he goes through a challenging time. I thought they'd offer him supports and check in on him from time to time. Unfortunately, they have made it clear that since his classroom performance has not yet been impacted, they don't consider it their responsibility to support him or give him access to mental health resources. The Parkway School website says, ask your child's counselor about mental health resources, but the counselor has not given my friend anything other than a list of community providers. She's waited days without a response from the administration to her emails, asking for support, check-ins for her son, or even a meeting to discuss it. This is not adhering to standing school policy. Is my friend's son a special case? Why doesn't he have access to the same resources other students have? My friend even made it clear to the administrator she spoke to that there are some socioeconomic challenges. I would hope that her son being part of a minoritized race isn't part of the lack of action. Ultimately, I'm not asking for special treatment for the student, just that he receives the same educational resources and mental health supports as his peers if they were in a similar situation. Thank you for your time and attention.
Okay, next may I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Board of Education as scheduled for April 16th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next regular board meeting will take place on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025, beginning at 7 p.m. at the Parkway Welcome Center. The board's annual spring workshop will take place on Saturday, April 26th, beginning at 8 a.m., also here at the Welcome Center. Next up, we will do board reports.
I just have a few quick things. First, I want to thank Rob Rudy for his service to the school board. I welcome John onto the board and look forward to working with you. And I want to congratulate a Parkway South graduate. Yesterday, Miss Kara Spencer became mayor of the city of St. Louis. Nice to see a Parkway graduate out there taking some leadership roles in the region. And then I'm going to do a plug for everybody listening, hopefully, for the future teacher signing night on Thursday, May 1st at 6:30. This will be the third year of the event. It is one of the best events, in my opinion, of the school year. The kids are excited, their mentors are there. It is just a great event. So it'll be here at the Welcome Center. I encourage you to attend.
So it was a busy month for me. On top of, went to the All-District Honor Band Concert, which was an amazing performance by both the middle and high school bands. Went to these, many of us went to the Student Advisory Group, where we talked a lot with middle and high school students on student discipline and how we can make that better, what's going well, what would you like to see. It was a great participation by our students. We had the election. I want to thank everyone who entrusted me with being back on the board. It has been a humbling experience, and I hope to do it for many years. Many years, yes, as long as you'll have me. No, as Matt said, I want to thank Rob Reedy for his service for the past 3 years. I did run with him initially, got to know him well, and really wish him the best of luck. And also to John Kilper for being our new member to the board. Wish you the best of luck, and excited to get to know you more.
Sounds good. Thank you for that. Yeah, so congratulations to Jeffrey on your reelection. I appreciate everybody coming out to vote last week, whether you voted for me or not. You know, every election's important. Local elections are important, so thanks for everybody coming out. Thank you to everybody who did support me in the campaign. I'm really, truly honored and grateful to have this opportunity to serve on the board. I'm eager to get to work. You know, honored to be sitting with you folks up here and looking forward to working with all of you. And just a quick plug, you know, to the students that were honored earlier for the work, being the all-state, you know, band choir and all that, and then also to Katie. It's amazing how strong of a fine arts program we have in the district. Super proud of that, and you know, the arts are so important. So, you know, to the students earlier, they really should be proud. And, you know, to Ms. Henderson and to all of our teachers and directors who bring the arts to our kids, thank you for that. And that's all I have.
So I just want to congratulate Mr. Spector and Mr. Kilper for, Mr. Spector for being reelected, Mr. Kilper for being elected. Welcome. I'm sure you'll be a great addition to this group of people. So this last month, it seems like it was so long ago because we had a spring break between our last meeting and this meeting, although the board also had several meetings after spring break. At least it seemed that way. But after spring break, a few of us did attend the Project Parkway Steering Committee meeting. There we talked about the CSIP update for the 2025-2026 school year. And we also talked about the facilities 2050. For the CSIP update, we will be hoping to bring that to us, the board, next month. And as part of the steering committee, our goal was to make sure that it was ready. And so we did a noise analysis. NOISE stands for needs, opportunities, improvements, strengths, and excitements about the plan. So that was a good meeting. And then as Mr. Spector said, we did also attend the student advisory meeting on April 3rd. That was also a really good meeting. I always appreciate hearing about the students' perspectives about things. They brought up some really, really great points in regards to the discipline and the behaviors that they see from other students and what they think actually would work better than some of the things that we might be doing now. So, I mean, it was a really good conversation, and I look forward to those every time we have those. I think that is all I have. Thank you.
So, you know, we're in mid-April now. Following this, you know, in the next few weeks, we kind of get to the sprint towards the end of the school year, which is really, really an exciting time with graduations and honors evenings and all of that. And it's wonderful. But before we, you know, dive into that period, I kind of want to reflect on where we are right now, which is kind of a period of, you know, a mix of continuity and transition in the district. For those of you that weren't here for the 6:30 show, we had the organizational meeting, and Rob Reedy, who is, his term ended, spoke very eloquently about this district, and I just kind of want to echo some of his sentiments. You know, in my professional life, I have clients where there, you know, things don't, 20 years, people stay in one place, and that's one way, that's one way of accomplishing things. But in the school realm, it seems to not take place. Teachers, educators, they tend to, there's more fluctuations. And as we sit here right now, it's a perfect example of that. We have a superintendent who's retiring at the end of the year and will be replaced by another superintendent who we're very, very excited about. In my 7 years on the board, I think 5/6 of the STAT team has turned over. But at the same time, even though the faces change, what Rob was saying is that the heart stays the same. And I'm very proud to be a part of this district because as we have new faces and new people in new places, which I didn't intend to rhyme, but there you go, I think we preserve the essence of this district. And I think, the stability of this district, and I think it's something we can all be really proud of. For instance, Jeff and Debbie, at that earlier meeting, have been reelected to be president and vice president. I believe this is the 6th year that's been our tandem. Fine, 8th year. Point being, that's an example of the stability we have. And, a board that works well together, the leadership isn't an issue, and it's very nice to be a part of. We welcome John Kilper to the board, which makes 3 lawyers, so we're getting there. And anyway, I just like to see this mix of transition and continuity, and I think that's kind of what enables this district to be such a stable presence.
I will extend congratulations to both Jeffrey Spector and John Kilper. John, we know Jeffrey. His term of office the last 3 years has been stellar and has brought a lot to the district. And as an alum of the district, and you're an alum of the district now as well. And so and all of your involvement with the district up to this point is just as a culmination for you, I think, of being on the board. And I think we will just be benefited by all of your experience and involvement with the district. So thank you for your continued service to step up to be on the board. And I wish you well, and we're here to support you in every way possible. So welcome and congratulations. In addition to the Project Parkway Steering Committee meeting and the student advisory meeting that I also attended, I did also go to the West High Special Olympics Day. That was a lovely, lovely event. It was so much fun just to see the collaboration with our students as best buddies to the other students. And this is a collaboration throughout St. Louis County. So we get students from various different school districts, Hazelwood, U-City, Clayton, Lindbergh, et cetera. So it was a big deal. And it's just about a whole day-long event. So very proud of the students that are participating in that. And for our school district, every high school, I believe, does this in our district. We're very proud of them for doing that. I've also been involved in a lot of planning committees with our St. Louis County Board of Education's professional learning community. We're planning our June activity for St. Louis County School Boards, as well as involved with the Legislative Advocacy Committee there as well. So I have been involved in those things. And I will just also reiterate, I had the pleasure of attending a choir concert and a couple of other musical performances since the last meeting. And I tell you what, I get chills and goosebumps when I hear some of these students perform, whether they're doing orchestra or whether they're singing, and so proud of our fine arts program that we have here in the district. And I want to continue to support that to make sure that we just keep it as stellar with all the different educators that we have and the variety and diversity of types of music that are conducted and the different types of choirs that we have. It's just remarkable, and we're just so proud of all of these educators and students for participating in that, and congratulations to those that we just honored tonight in their special recognitions.
I will echo congratulations to John and Jeffrey. When I started on the board, I was the only alum, and I was like really excited about that. But now we can actually have a quorum among alums. There's 4 of us now. So, no, congratulations. We're excited to have you join us. And Jeffrey, continue the work that you've been doing. Let's see, Project Parkway Steering was mentioned, Student Advisory was mentioned. That was great. Like a couple other people said, I love those opportunities to talk with students. Last week, Dr. Marty and I met with our faith leaders, who are just a great group of people that come from all different types of backgrounds and represent different congregations here in St. Louis in the Parkway footprint. They're always a very collaborative group as far as things that they can offer to us and in support that they offer the community. So that was great. We received an annual report from the Parkway Food Pantry last week. And their work continues to be amazing. They continue to serve over 100 families every month who are food insecure, and in addition, they provide things beyond food. And we also heard last week they were represented at the Faith Leaders meeting as well. We heard that this fall they're going to have an education fair where they're going to have one of these drives where kids that can't afford or don't have access to school supplies and backpacks and things like that, they're working on getting those materials. So there'll be more information about that coming up. Let's see, last Friday, I had an hour or so of recess duty at Mason Ridge, 4th and 5th grade students, and no one ran away, no one got injured. There was no profanity on the playground, and the kids were good too. So that's always a fun event to do. It's a gift of time, and so they get volunteers to come in and work playground duty, recess duty, so teachers have an extra hour to do whatever they need to do to catch up on the day. So let's see. Again, my best wishes to Rob Reedy, and thanks for his service on the board. And I'll just shout out one of the kids that was honored here tonight, Max Banashek from North High. I've known him for a number of years. He's a great kid, much smarter than I was in school. And he just started singing this past year. His senior year was his first year in any kind of music class, and he did very, very well at state. So he told me after the meeting tonight, the choir has become his favorite thing at school. So I thought that was cool. And then lastly, I just want to mention that last month we talked about board recognition, but next week is actually Board Secretaries Week. So I just want to give a shout out to Nikki, our amazing, irreplaceable, just stupendous board secretary. She keeps all of us organized and looking good and sounding good, and we really appreciate everything you do for us. So thank you.
Man, you stole my thunder. I was going to say something about that. But it's a National Administrative Professional Day, we now call it, for Nikki and all that serve in that role. So we got others, but particularly want to thank Nikki for her leadership. You cover most everything. Again, congratulations to our elected and our re-elected officers, and John and Jeffrey, thank you. And I just want to mention that somebody mentioned with a lot of, I think Tiffany mentioned a lot had happened. We did have had some significant damage in some of our locations. I just want to again to salute our custodial grounds maintenance group for the cleanup. Fortunately, we didn't have school and could take some time to get everything worked on, and Central High, Central Campus, including our area, was hit pretty hard. So I want to just salute those individuals who made it all happen and during that time following the storm of, what was that, March 14th or something like that. Also just want to talk about Special Olympics. We also had Special Olympics last week at North High School, equally well attended. They had good weather before it rained in the afternoon, so they got that in. They had to have a track meet, and they were outside, actually. So that, as Mrs. Hopper said, we have Special Olympics at all our schools, and that was the last one for the school year. Do want to reinforce the idea that the food pantry is in need of ongoing support, and they're seeing numbers go up in terms of people, families coming for support. Do want to also indicate we did send a message out to our community, and we've been talking internally about some new budget challenges. And so I just want to thank Carrie and Nunn and all our staff members and the work that we are working on to come bring to you next month. Carrie will have a report, and in June you'll approve the tentative budget. But we've had some challenges, as I can tell you, most school districts in Missouri are facing increased healthcare costs, vendor costs, unknowns about what the legislature is going to do. So, and of course, the senior tax freeze, which we've spoken about a number of times. So we're really working to bring a budget to you that is responsible and also proactive, and also some concerns about what the future is going to mean, and which we have Dr. Schneider is going to be forming a task force in her early tenure on to certainly get ahead of what challenges we may have. And also the benefits advisory is going to continue looking at benefits. I did attend last week a National Honor Society, or 2 weeks ago at the Northeast Middle School. Our junior highs or middle schools have National Honor Societies. And then last week, Dr. Mathis and I attended a PACCD, our Special Education Parents Advisory. Had great discussion, a lot of parents there. SSD administrator or leaders were there to answer a lot of questions that people have about staffing with a special school district, and I was proud that Amy Blumenfeld did a great job of facilitating that discussion, and we had really, I think, good, honest, transparent discussion about certainly staffing our special education students' needs. I will conclude by mentioning that Dr. Schneider is going to be back in the district next week, and will be attending our board workshop and our at appreciation night. And then finally, I just want to say, I think a lot of people are aware of this, but we did have a former superintendent and a very close friend of mine, Don Sente. Dr. Sente passed away over last weekend. Don Sente was this interim superintendent when I came to the district, and for a whole semester, I had a chance to be mentored by Dr. Sente, and I've told Dr. Schneider, if I can be anything close to what Don was for me, for her transition, he was wonderful. I've got to know Don over the years, and didn't have a lot of contact with him the last couple of years when as his health deteriorated, but what a wonderful leader he was, a powerhouse leader in the community here, but also in Clayton and eventually at Ed Plus. And so just want to keep Don in our thoughts and prayers. His son, Bill, of course, was a leader for us, and another son, Jim, who works in California. We did post the obituary with Lisa Tomich working with the family. But again, what a wonderful leader, and again, talking about the tradition of Parkway, he certainly is one reason why we're the district we are. With his tenure back in the 80s and 90s as superintendent, and when he returned as the interim, did a wonderful job in that role and helped me greatly in my first years in Parkway. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, we've already approved our agenda for this evening. Next up, 11.0 is our consent agenda, which is rather healthy this month. We've all had an opportunity to review that over the last week or so. So may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in the April 16th, 2025 board materials.
So moved.
Second?
Is there anything to be pulled to action or closed?
I wish to pull 11.12 and abstain.
Or you just wish to abstain or pull it?
Abstain, oh, sorry, abstain from 11.12.
Okay. All right, then, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
And I'm abstaining from 11.26.
11.26, okay.
Should I abstain from something?
No. All right, motion carries 7-0. Next up, we have an action item. We don't have an action item. We had an action item last month. So that is the approval of policy JG-R1.BP, student discipline. So may I have a motion and a second that the Board of Education adopts the new JG-R1.BP policy to clarify our practices for the 25-26 school year and beyond, as presented in the April 16th, 2025 board meeting materials.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Next up, we have no policy review, however, we do have a report. So I'd like to call on, apparently I'm calling on Kevin Beckner, who will probably call on Lauren for World Languages Program Evaluation.
That's correct. I just want to take a moment and thank Lauren Fairley and the entire World Languages team who spent the year evaluating their program and really diving into a lot of great questions. I introduced Lauren to you, I think, beginning of this school year with just what an excellent review she'd received from teachers last school year. And she kept telling me, just wait till program evaluation, because she was very nervous about the process, but did a masterful job and had a great team of teachers who were gathering frequently throughout this school year. And she'll present all the findings and all the work that they did this year, but just wanted to congratulate the entire World Language team and Lauren for the great work. So with that, yes, I'll turn it over to Lauren.
I always say I have to bring Kevin everywhere I go because he's just so nice. He says the nicest things about me. Hi, nice to see you again. I was here in September. We went over the guiding questions and the topics that we would have for program evaluation. We did our program evaluation, so I'm here to go ahead and go over it. Can I use this clicker? Okay. Hi again. This was our timeline. I met with my teachers along with Dr. Nathan Tyson on August 15th for our first work session. They came up with our guiding topics and our questions, and then I met with the subcommittee, and then met with you guys in September, and then we started our quest into diving into our guiding topics and questions. And then here I am tonight to go over our findings and recommendations. So as a reminder, here's our guiding topics. We're talking about our mission and vision of a world language learner. We just wanted to revisit that as a whole group to make sure that what we have is what we like, and that will drive all of our professional development topics moving forward. Curriculum and instruction was a big beast that we took on, and it has a lot of subjects underneath, including instructional practices, curriculum, assessment, teaching about culture and resources, and then our last is program structure. Here's our program evaluation leadership team members. I just want to take a moment to recognize them. There's Blair Hopkins from West High. She's a French teacher. Suzanne Johnson, North High French teacher. Kelly Leon is the Southwest Middle Spanish teacher. Jessie Minchak is our West High ASL teacher. Carolyn Miller, West Middle French teacher. Matt Picard, Central High Latin teacher. Michelle Roman, Central Middle French teacher. Christy Stazik, Central High German teacher. And Stephanie Vences, a South High Spanish teacher. Here's our current language offerings, just to give you an idea of what we have at the moment. You can see that our main languages are French, Spanish, and Latin. Those are the ones that are in all of our high schools. We have German also at Central High. That program is being sunsetted. I'll touch on that in this evaluation as well. We have Latin in the high schools, but not in the middle schools any longer. And we have ASL smatterings throughout the district. And then we have our St. Louis Virtual Campus offering ASL and Chinese. A little brief history of the World Languages and Parkway. 2015, 2016 is the last time that we had a program evaluation. That was before my time. This is my second year here. During that time, there was a shift from traditional grammar-driven program methods into this new thematic unit program. So the way that we probably all learned languages, the way that I learned languages when you were in high school and college, you probably learned this way, was a grammar-driven program. So there's vocabulary lists, and you memorize grammar, you conjugate verbs on verb charts, and it's very methodical kind of translation method. There was a shift to this thematic unit program, and actually, Parkway was ahead of the pedagogical curve during this time because there was no materials out there and there was no textbooks to support this shift. It was just, there's this new research, this is the way that we really should be teaching students. It's about real language in context with so instead of memorizing a verb about how to order food at a restaurant, you're actually practicing how to order food at a restaurant like a real scenario, right? Like using your language appropriately. And so because Parkway was ahead of this pedagogical curve, there was just no support, there was no resources that actually supported the teachers. So the teachers had to create everything. So we had lead teacher contracts, for example, as lead Spanish teacher for high school, lead French teacher for high school, and so on and so forth. And they created a bunch of materials that aligned with this new pedagogical curve that was in 2015, 2016. So that's what we've been doing for the past 10 years, really relying heavily on our lead teachers. And then in 2022 and 2023, we had some enrollment shifts. There was the decision to sunset the German program due to lack of enrollment, and the decision to discontinue Latin in the middle school program, also due to lack of enrollment. I have to take a minute to brag about our Seal of Biliteracy program. In 2017 and 2018, Missouri became one of 37 states to have the Seal of Biliteracy program. You may have heard about it. Now all 50 states have the Seal of Seal of Biliteracy program. South Dakota was really hanging on. They were the last state to get in there, and so now all 50 have it. So it's recognized nationally, which is very exciting. The Missouri Seal by Literacy recognizes students who are proficient in English and another language. We have several students who get their seals in multiple languages as well, which is really awesome. Colleges and universities can award back credit to students who earn this award. It's college dependent, so there's not a set chart that they have all out, that they all follow, of course. They follow their own patterns. But for example, at UMSL, a local university, students can earn up to 17 back credits for free if they have their Seal by Literacy. So it's pretty amazing. A lot of students will usually take their Seal by Literacy, get their credits, and maybe take 1 or 2 more courses and have a minor in their language already by the time that they're freshmen. So it's amazing. It's a really awesome program. There's scholarship and employment opportunities through the Seal by Literacy. It's recognized as a market value asset in Missouri through the Success Ready Student Network. And it offers students a distinct advantage over others in a competitive market. So we're really proud of our students because this year we had 371 students apply for their Seal by Literacy, 214 students earned the Missouri Seal by Literacy, and 31 students earned the Distinguished Missouri Seal by Literacy, which is a very high level, is advanced proficiency levels. So the combination there is 245 Parkway students earned this very prestigious award. This is open to juniors and seniors, so it's quite a great number that I'm very proud of our teachers and our students. And this number is more than double last year's number. We had 114 awardees last year, so we're very, very proud of the progress that we've made in our program. We also have a credit by assessment opportunity. This is per board guideline IKFG. Students can earn credit for areas in which they demonstrate competency. So this includes languages. So specifically, students who know a language other than English can earn up to 2 elective credits in world languages if they score an intermediate, mid, or higher on all tested domains on a nationally accredited language proficiency exam. This is the same exam that we use for the Seal by Literacy. So they can earn, for example, 2 credits in Arabic or Tamil or Telugu or any language that they have competency. I'll be testing a student in Dari next week. From spring 2024 to spring 2025 right now, there were 15 Parkway students who took advantage of this opportunity, just to give you an idea of how many students are taking advantage of this. Here's our current program structure. We have pathways, 2 different pathways for students to take a language and continue on through high school. There's the middle school pathway. If they start learning in middle school, they can start in 6th grade with a Global and Cultural Connections class. This is kind of an Explo class where they can explore French, Spanish, German, Latin, and ASL all together, and they get a little sampling of each. Then they can pick a language that they're most interested in and continue on into 7th grade. That would be level 1A, and 8th grade is level 1B. So for example, if they're interested in Spanish, they would take Spanish A in 7th grade and Spanish B in 8th grade. Then onto high school, they would continue all the way up into AP level 5. And all of our level 4 classes are honors classes. So that's for students who start in middle school. And then for students who begin in high school, again, they start with 9th grade level 1 and move all the way up to 12th grade level 4. So due to the 2 different pathways, our capstone course is either level 4 or level 5, just depending on where they begin. Current staffing, we have 18 high school Spanish teachers and 8 middle school Spanish teachers, 6 high school French teachers and 5 middle school French teachers, 3 Latin high school teachers. We have 2 ASL high school teachers, 1 middle school teacher, 1 virtual teacher, and an out-of-district virtual program to try to support our ASL staffing issues. We have 1 high school German teacher, and then there's me, our curriculum lead. Through the program evaluation process, these are the research tools that we use to answer our driving questions. So we had a Parkway parent survey that went out digitally. We had a world languages teachers digital survey. We did an ASL work group, mostly because we had a little bit of a staffing crisis in the middle of the school year, so we had to meet with them frequently. We had a French focus group, a German focus group, Latin focus group, Spanish focus group, a book study, district comparison, and we had many work sessions with my program evaluation leadership team. So here's some main findings from our parent survey. Just first of all, there was an approximate 5% return rate on the parent survey, and while the responses provide valuable insights, they reflect perspectives of those who chose to participate rather than the broader community as a whole. We would have loved to have answers from the whole community, obviously. We had a 5% return rate, so that's what we're working with. But of that 5%, 88% of respondents indicated that learning a new language is important for their child. 77% of respondents indicated that their child has shown an interest in learning a new language. Over 88% of respondents indicated that learning a new language is meaningful and relevant to their child's future. This was music to our ears. We were glad to hear this, and we were like, yay, we're still relevant. This is wonderful. When asked which languages parents would potentially be interested in to adding to Parkway's World Language Program, the top requests were Chinese, Arabic, Hindi, and other. And in the other category, the most mentioned language was Spanish, which was a little confusing, and it's probably because most of the respondents were elementary school parents, and they don't have any languages in the elementary school at this point, so they added Spanish in. 56 of the respondents expressed interest in an emergent or a bilingual elementary program if it was possible in the future, and 25% were neutral, 18.5% did not express interest. 84% of respondents were interested in world languages being introduced as a special in elementary school, similar to music, art, PE, and strings, if the possibility became available in the future in Parkway. For the World Language Teacher Survey, only 6% of respondents indicated that the current World Language curriculum is working with no holes, issues, or other items to be addressed through the program evaluation process. 65% indicated that the curriculum is mostly solid but has a couple of holes or issues that need to be addressed, and 28% indicated that the current curriculum as it stands would benefit from a complete overhaul. If we break that down a little further, the French department said it's pretty solid, but we have a few holes and issues that we need to address. Spanish had 60% saying that it's pretty solid, but we need to address a few holes and issues, and 32% requested a total overhaul. 100% of Latin teachers reported that the curriculum is working well. There's 3 teachers, so they work really well together. So all of them said it's working really well, and 100% of our German respondents, we have the one German teacher, said that she would like a total overhaul. Some more key findings for our World Language Teacher Survey. 93% of our respondents would like a textbook-like resource. And again, I will remind you that there was just nothing out there when we switched to this thematic unit style. And so now that there are products out there and there's resources, we can really switch over to something that can really support our teachers and kind of align them. This would provide like a baseline scope and sequence, common assessments, a bank of diverse school-appropriate ready-made authentic-like resources to support teachers and students. Again, because teachers were having to go out and find those things on their own in their own time, kind of mining these authentic resources and creating things from scratch. And it would always be the story of you can find the perfect video, but then like somebody's smoking a cigarette in the background, or they're talking too fast, or they're not using the right vocabulary word. And so somebody's already done all of that work for us. It just saves teachers a lot of valuable time. Only 6% of respondents indicated that the current world language curriculum is working well with no holes, issues, or other items to be addressed. 65% indicated that it's mostly solid but has a few holes. 28% said that we need a total overhaul. Oops. Oh, I don't know what's happening here, sorry. I'm stuck. I'm not sure what. Say that again. Oh, okay. Let's keep clicking. All right, regarding requirements for middle school students to earn high school credit, teacher respondents are mostly evenly divided on their opinions on whether or not students need to complete a level 2 in order to earn back their credit for middle school. And so this was, because the opinions were so divided up, we're gonna have a recommendation that we reconvene and kind of discuss that. And world language teachers are also varied in their opinion on whether to bring world languages to the elementary school in some capacity. So while there's a general excitement about the possibility of adding this in the future, there's some valid concerns about staffing these courses and potentially favoring one language over others. And I'll just name the language, Spanish, which can negatively impact future enrollment for our other languages like French, Latin, ASL, and German. All right, for our focus groups, we have some strengths. All of our world language groups have a dedicated, talented, committed, and deeply invested in student success group of teachers that are working hard for our students. There's positive student experiences and retention, especially in French, Latin, and ASL. Usually when the student starts on a French, Latin, or ASL track, they continue all the way up into the capstone course. We have high standards in academic rigor. Each language group reported strong student outcomes with students exceeding benchmark expectations, and I think our Seal by Literacy data shows that as well. And there's an intentionality to integrate cultural diversity, equity, and inclusion into the curriculum. And we have some curricular consistency. Note the key word there is some. Latin has a well-organized and common curriculum and assessments, supporting a multi-tiered system of support and implementation. We have some weaknesses. There is that lack of common instructional resources. Again, during this time when teachers were creating their own materials, they kind of went into a survival mode. And so some schools do different things than other schools, so there's a lack of commonness amongst all buildings. Staffing challenges and isolation. Of course, German and ASL programs face extreme staffing shortages, and in some cases, a complete lack of in-person instructors. We have an inconsistent implementation of MTSS. The Spanish and French groups noted difficulty implementing English MTSS equitably due to inconsistent resources and varying instructional practices. Once again, once we have a common resource that kind of unites everybody, they'll be able to implement that a lot more easily. And then there's some enrollment inequities and access. Latin is not currently offered at one high school, and both French and Latin raise concerns about declining enrollment in general. Latin also experiences challenges with academic diversity in their student groups. Some opportunities. We have several groups that identify the opportunity to adopt a common resource that would strengthen the vertical and horizontal alignment. We have innovative course offerings. We've recently approved 2 new courses through the course proposal process. One is Spanish for Spanish speakers. That's getting off its feet. It's in its first year this year, doing really well. And we have Roman Myth and Introduction to Latin, which is kind of like a pre-Latin one to help students and support them. We have interdisciplinary collaboration opportunities. Latin teachers identified partnerships with history and ELA to help boost their enrollment. And we have technology and virtual learning as an opportunity for our programs as well. Despite some drawbacks, virtual options like St. Louis Virtual Campus for German and ASL provide opportunities for continued access when staffing is limited. And lastly, student travel and enrichment. The Spanish teachers highlighted the potential to expand real-world learning experiences through educational travel that the district would support. And lastly, we have threats. There's some declining enrollment in feeder program elimination concerns. The French and Latin programs both reported concerns about declining enrollment, and Latin noting the elimination of the middle school feeder as a key concern. We have staffing shortages and certification barriers, particularly in ASL. As a reminder, there is no certification for ASL in the state of Missouri. We've been told that they're working on that, so we're hoping that they are, and that will be remedied soon. We have the virtual-only risks. So while virtual learning offers some solutions and it helps maintain programs and keep them afloat, there is some concerns raised that over-reliance on virtual programs could lead to reduced engagement and quality. And the equity and language representation concerns as well. Spanish and Latin groups raised concerns about introducing a Spanish-only model at the elementary level if that were to happen, advocating instead for exposure to multiple languages from an early age. From our book studies, just a couple of main findings. There are many, many benefits to language learning, and research shows that learning a second language enhances, not hinders, academic performance, boosting skills in reading, math, science, and even standardized test scores. So we do recommend that every student take a language. Communicative language teaching is an approach, it's a teaching style that emphasizes real-world language use and student proficiency, leading to stronger outcomes and greater engagement over traditional grammar methods, the way that we were taught when we were in high school. Language learning is for all students, not just the academically elite, and world languages should be considered a core subject like math or ELA in our dreams. Any well-taught language can yield strong benefits. The specific language matters less than the opportunity to learn one. So when we're trying to figure out which languages to offer, it just matters that there's some languages to learn because they have done research, and when you learn a language, you can more easily learn other languages. As soon as you learn one, you're like, get it, and you can continue to learn. We can use objective practical criteria when deciding which languages to offer, including teacher availability, materials, community interest, and program capacity. Continuing on here, the foreign language and elementary school push-in style programming is the program that we're looking at for elementary school if we ever have a change in Parkway School District. But they have to meet a minimum amount of time and frequency to yield proper results. We would not want to start something and do it in a weak way that would not yield any results. So we consider concentrating instruction at the upper elementary. Immersion programs offer the highest language outcomes, especially when sustained through K-12, but they do require higher teacher proficiency and very long-term planning. We would love to start language learning early if possible, but we have to start smart. Launching a week early program is worse than waiting until the right resources and design are in place. And curriculum units should be purposeful, culturally rich, and standards-based while also engaging student interest in critical thinking. And communicative assessments reflect real language use, measuring what students can do rather than what they know. Again, it's about that approach of using your language correctly in context with real-world scenarios, not just do you know how to conjugate this verb. And then a clear mission, vision, and values give direction and unity to a world language program, aligning faculty around shared goals. For district comparisons, as part of our program evaluation progress, we did talk to neighboring school districts regarding their program design and structure. And while these discussions provided lots of insight and valuable resources, there's not anything that they would recommend that would enhance our current structure. So based on this comparison, our district is already implementing the most effective and research-aligned program structure. So recommendations here. We recommend that we adopt the new mission and vision via the newly created Portrait of a World Language Learner. I know this is probably difficult to read, but our Portrait of a World Language Learner says that each world language student is a global citizen, an effective communicator, a collaborative partner, an empathetic explorer, an empowered learner, a resilient individual, a creative contributor, and a critical thinker. So this would drive all of our professional development and everything that we do, any resources that we choose, the assessments that we write would all align with our portrait of this world language learner, and then all of our professional development would be a piece of the puzzle. So that's our first recommendation. The second recommendation is kind of chunky. We have program structure and design. So 2A is expand opportunities for elementary students to engage with world languages through developmentally appropriate exposure and instruction. So 2AA, if the elementary schedule ever permits the addition of a new special class, consider adding world languages to the elementary schedule. So we understand at this point in time with the way that the schedule is that we can't just insert ourselves into without ruining a bunch of things, right? So if the schedule changes and we're looking to add another special, consider world languages as a special. Further exploration of the FLES model would be pursued if the schedule is allowed. So we would do a study and we would figure out how to do this appropriately and in the right levels. The leadership team acknowledges the difficulties in staffing any type of one-way or two-way dual immersion at the elementary level, so they do not recommend these models at this time. The dual enrollment or immersion programs usually do best when we have more than a 25% population of the second language. And right now we just don't have that structure in place, nor do we have the type of teachers that we would need to make this program successful. So at this time, we don't recommend this model. And we do support the implementation of community-led language clubs at the elementary level. There's been some community groups and have suggested that we do the language clubs in elementary school, and we 100% support that. Continue on with 2. We're on 2B now. Oops, no we're not. I don't know how to go back now, sorry. Yes, okay. Retain the current 6-12 World Language Program model as is until a possible elementary school schedule allows for change. So we're just gonna keep everything. We recommend students keep starting in 6th grade at this point, and then if there's a change, we would pursue that FLES model. 2C, continue to offer French and Spanish at the middle school level, French, Spanish, and Latin at the high school level, and virtual learning opportunities for any requested language for which there is an affordable and accredited online course option. So we also recognize that we would love to offer every language that exists, but staffing is an issue. So we do have virtual learning opportunities for those languages that we don't have teachers for, and we want to take advantage of that. We will also continue with credit by assessment opportunities for any requested languages for which there's a nationally recognized language proficiency exam that aligns to ACTFL standards as outlined in Board Guideline IKFG3. And opportunities for accredited language schools to transfer up to 2 elective credits of studied world languages when a transcript is provided. So we have some partnerships with, for example, the Missouri Tamil School, the Telugu School. They have accredited programs, and so when they bring those transcripts to us, we do award 2 credits. And lastly, opportunities for the Seal by Literacy program to continue to thrive and expand. Moving on. I keep getting stuck. I don't know what's going on. Just gonna keep clicking. Okay. All right, 2D, okay. Continue to explore pathways for students interested in German. So the community did mention German as one of their requested languages to bring back. This can include opportunities such as offer a virtual option for students across the district as part of the German teacher's regular teaching schedule, or option 2, offer a virtual option for students across the district in the St. Louis area via the St. Louis Virtual Campus. Just gonna keep clicking. 2E, with the introduction of our newly approved Roman myth and introduction to Latin course, the Latin teachers would propose to remove AP Level 5 as the capstone course for that Latin program and bring AP to the Level 4 level. This would be through the course proposal process and pending principal approval. And 2F, we would like to introduce a proficiency pathways program beginning in middle school. This program would provide standardized testing when funding is available and award students pathway recognition as they hit certain milestones on their path to language proficiency. This program will bolster the World Languages program, give students clear goals and progress monitoring tools, and boost enrollment and retention in the world language courses. Additionally, offering standardized language proficiency testing at multiple levels gives students opportunities to earn college credits without having to take the AP exam, enroll in an advanced credit course, or earn the seal by literacy. So if they have an actual score report that says that they are at a certain level, colleges do recognize that, and some of them do offer back credits for free for those. So that's really awesome. It's just going to take 20 clicks every time. And 2G, move the ASL, American Sign Language program, to a fully virtual model until there's a Missouri certification for ASL available. You're all aware of the staffing issues that we've had with ASL. So in order to save it and kind of keep it afloat, we'd like to move it to the St. Louis Virtual Campus program and keep it there until we can get some teachers with some Missouri certifications. And 2H, a subcommittee of the Credit Review Committee should reconvene to discuss the requirements around high school credit earned in middle school. So again, this is that level 1A and level 1B. Topics of discussion at this meeting should include changing the grade requirement in level 1B to a C or better. Right now it's a B or better to earn credit. The requirement to complete the next course in the sequence to earn credit, that is that they have to finish level 2 in high school in order to earn their middle school credit. And alignment with the math credit earned in middle school. Our math program does this as well, so we just want to make sure that we align with them. And we want to encourage communication between the World Language Department staff and those leading current elementary levels, community-led events in World Language Department for promotion, cultural connections, and potential middle school, high school tie-in. So there's international nights and things like that that are happening all throughout our district that are wonderful. So we want to partner with those and maybe bring high school students down to the elementary schools and work with them to promote world languages from a very young age. For our curriculum instruction and assessment section, we would like to begin the resource adoption process for a robust French, German, and Spanish resource at the start of the 25-26 school year, so next year, to provide these languages with a strong baseline for teacher and student support. This new resource, whether textbook-like or digital platform, there's many options out there now, will vertically and horizontally align the World Languages Department and free up valuable teacher time so they can focus on student growth instead of creating those assessments and rubrics. A new resource will also provide the means to teach about all cultures equitably. The Latin department already has a really strong resource, and a new edition addressing diversity in the Latin language will arrive in the fall of 2025, and it's already been budget approved. All right, next we would like to eliminate the language-specific lead teacher contracts. So if we do adopt a new resource, there's no need to have the lead teacher's language contracts that we have in place right now. Again, those teachers are the ones that are getting paid a stipend to create a bunch of lessons to send out to the group because there is no textbook at this point in time. If we get a new resource, these teachers would no longer have to spend their time doing that, so we wouldn't need those contracts anymore. And lastly, for staff development, we would use the new Portrait of a World Language Learner as a guideline, providing ongoing high-quality professional development opportunities for the World Language Department members addressing each component of the portrait. Do you have any questions for me? I know I went quickly.
Well, Kevin wasn't kidding. You did a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
So thank you. That was very thorough and a lot of good information. Any board members have questions?
I've got one question
Yes.
on the Latin program.
Yes.
So with taking it out of the middle school, how are we seeing enrollment in the high school? Are we envisioning Latin for the foreseeable future? Or are we seeing a decline where it may end up in sort of that German, the way that we've kind
The
of
sunset,
lowered enrollment?
yes.
Yeah, sunset.
We have seen a little bit of a dip in enrollment, but we discussed this with the high school Latin teachers because they're the ones that are the program, our 3 high school Latin teachers. When we said, if we put it in our recommendations that we'd like to bring it back to the middle school program, we need to find a teacher to be able to go down there and teach. And so therein lies our issue, is finding the highly qualified staff to teach those courses. And our Latin teachers are stretched very thin right now because they are the 3 of the district. And so the 3 of them weren't feeling like they would be able to take on going down to the middle school to teach those courses. So we're thinking the middle school teachers do a really good job of promoting Latin in middle school still, even though there is no Latin program to start with in that capstone course. And then again, with the new introduction to Latin course that we have, they're just doing their own little acceleration track. So we're monitoring that progress. At the moment, there's no plans to wind down the Latin program. At West, it's very, very robust. The teacher is even teaching on an overage. They have a really great travel program, and so their reputation precedes them. They're also 3 excellent teachers. So because of that, they're doing okay. They're hanging in there. But we will continue to monitor that enrollment trend and just make sure they're staying bolstered.
I will just add that my son's in the Latin class
Yay!
at West High. He loves it.
It's
probably one of
wonderful.
his favorite classes.
Yes, it's such a good course.
I'll ask,
Yeah.
so what's the estimated time for the Missouri certification program to come to ASL? I know this was apparently a big disruption and disappointment
It
for
is.
the students to learn that they weren't going to be able to do this in person anymore.
Yes, we've been told they've been working on it for years now, and there hasn't been a lot of progress. So we're trying to make a lot of noise. We're calling the state and trying to get updates, but it's going slowly. So I'll say that. But we have been told that it's in progress, so there's something going on. I just don't know how quickly. So the move to St. Louis Virtual Campus is our effort to keep the ASL program afloat. We did interviews Tuesday for our St. Louis Virtual Campus program, and we do have applicants for that program. We just don't have applicants for our in-person program. So at least we can keep it alive in St. Louis Virtual Campus, and it's teachers that the students would know and connect with. It's just difficult to staff it in person, unfortunately. And our ASL teachers this year are all moving on to do wonderful things. They're all leaving for great reasons. But if they would have stayed, I think our program would continue to grow. But we'd still run into these staffing issues because it is growing. So eventually, as you can see this year, we have our 2 high school teachers, our middle school teacher, and then we have to rely heavily on virtual even with them. So it's just difficult. So I have other districts calling me too saying, we want to do ASL, how are you staffing it? And I'm going, well, it's kind of hard. So we're calling the state, we're trying to get progress, updates, and it's just moving really slowly.
We can just stay there for a second. Can we, even if the state came up with a certification, what universities are really doing a good job of establishing courses?
Well, we learned through this process this year, through our ASL teachers, that many deaf and hard of hearing programs don't require the learning of ASL to become deaf and hard of hearing educators. Because a lot of the program is about teaching how to help DHH students thrive in a hearing world. And so they teach them how to, use hearing aids and communicate in ways if nobody knows ASL around you. So there's a couple in the nation. There's not even any very many locally. But for Flow Valley has a really great program. So we've talked to them and we've partnered with them. It's just, again, that teacher track. We're just having nationwide shortages on teacher tracks in general. But Flow Valley is our best hope for local.
So I think it's important, even if the state, there's got to be some universities that step up, right? But
Yes,
otherwise
they're
we're
having
still-
difficulty staffing too. They've,
Right. Yeah.
they've called us as well.
We plan on continuing it with the Global and Cultural Connections class?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Now, when a student takes a foreign language virtually, are they doing that during the day in a classroom within their building?
It depends. Some take it extracurricularly, like after school, they'll stay after and take their course. Some are doing it. It depends. Each school kind of does their own thing. Some students are scheduled kind of like in a study hall, and they're being monitored by a proctor, and they're all taking asynchronous courses kind of side by side. And some are doing it when their schedule aligns. So every school kind of has their own little method, but some yes, some no. But it's mostly asynchronous work, which, again, it's not the greatest environment for language learning because we do a lot of interactive, collaborative work, but it's better than nothing. It's better than what we have than saying, sorry, you can't take one.
So this isn't directed at you because you've only been in this role for a couple of years. But since it's been 10 years since we've had a program evaluation, when can we expect the next program evaluation?
I think 7.
Especially given things have really been moving quickly the last few years in foreign language.
We're scheduled for 7-year rotations, so since my first year, we were actually scheduled for program evaluation last year, but it was my first year, so they threw me a bone and pushed it off to this year, which I appreciated. So 7 years is our rotation. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I can't even imagine in 7 years what language learning might look like in regards to technology. We really have to stay up on the trends.
Well, hopefully some of the challenges that we have at the moment
Work themselves out,
can
yeah,
work out, yeah.
yeah.
I just want to say, I think, what a thorough examination that Lauren has done here.
Oh, thank you.
And showing a lot of issues on the table, but it's, I think it's just been very fair. I mean, world language is in a transition, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
from curricular instruction, how we deliver it. There's so many demands out there. People want certain languages, and at least we are working to have those virtual opportunities. I do want to brag a little bit about Lauren. You may recall, some of you, that last year, we did have a call from our Hindi languages. And so Kevin and Lauren and I met, and Lauren presented him with the seal of biliteracy. And I think, we haven't talked, but I think
They're
that's.
doing great, yeah.
It's going well.
They're very happy. Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a great option, and these individuals really wanted to have this program, and when Lauren talked about that, that's been a really nice option. And they
Yes.
certainly get the credit, and it honored their cultural desire, and we certainly have
Exactly.
students, as we know, because we were there last spring and saw, what was going on, but I think they really wanted us to do more and step up, so I just want to kind of brag that Lauren really presented them with a nice alternative, which they've taken advantage of, and
Yeah, and we'll
It's-
support any student that wants to test in any language. I'm running around testing students all the time, and they're doing wonderfully. So it's really working out nicely. When we can't have a whole class of Hindi or a whole class of Arabic, for example, or Hebrew, we would love it. We would love to. We just can't staff it.
How,
I
d-
th-
how do,
go
how,
ahead.
I'm sorry, how do students sign up for that? What's the channels that they have to go through?
So there's there's a couple of different ways. So the Seal of Biliteracy program happens every year. For Seal of Biliteracy, they have to be a junior or a senior in order to sign up. They find out through their buildings. We push out information. And I run that whole program. We test in buildings and give them their score reports, and there's all sorts of different requirements. They have to have an English proficiency score. They have to do a project. So that's that program. They can earn credits that way. And then the credit by assessment opportunity, they just reach out to their counselor. Their counselor reaches out to me. They fill out a form, and I just go test them. I order a language test for them, and I sit with them and proctor them as they take their language test. And when their score report comes back, if they hit their certain benchmark, then they earn their 2.0 credits. It's a really intense test. It takes up to 4 hours. It's, testing their reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills. And they do a really fantastic job.
I just gonna, with the diverse community we live in, and, and the number of languages we have, home language, I mean, we really are, trying to do our best and
Yes.
offer a broad program and yet meet those individual needs. And again, I think your recommendations are interesting. I don't know how many, I know you listed how many recommendations you had up there in the task.
Quite a few.
But I think the major task is really to just continually try to be as supportive as we can to the broad
Yes.
nature of what students want, but also those individual, which you address, some individual needs that we can address through virtual or through the Seal of Biliteracy. But
Yes.
what a challenge, right, that I'm sure you're facing with, your staff recommendations, parent recommendations, students' desires. Again, I just want to say we're fortunate to have you in this role.
Thank you.
And the challenges you face, but, wow, as Mr. Todd said, we probably should keep revisiting, right? And keep, which I know you'll do.
And I'll stay on it. You know me, I'll keep on it. And, but yeah, I'm happy to support anybody. Obviously, languages are my passion, and we have a really wonderfully diverse community that's really so kind. And so they really do understand that we're working for their best interests, and we'll work with anybody for anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have no special meeting and no work sessions, so may I have a motion and a second to adjourn the regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you all for attending and/or watching remotely.